fuck it. Hi, I'm Fleur. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. Please subscribe. And if you've been here before, welcome back. And thank you for being here. It's been a while since I've made a video on this channel, and I felt like it was time to give you a bit of an update on where I'm at in my burnout recovery. You guys have been really sweet and supportive, and I felt a little bit bad for kind of falling off the face of the earth on this channel. If you watch my ASMR videos, you know that I've just been around and you're pretty up to date probably. But for those of you who haven't, I'm here now, so... I've thought a lot about how I wanted to make this video, what I wanted to say. I scripted everything, but I think I should just kind of toss most of it out the window because I just tried to record it 5 times and it doesn't feel the same. I want it to be authentic and just as realistic as I can possibly make it, so we're winging it. Anyway, the last time that I made an update on this channel was in October, I believe, and I talked about how I was doing and what I was still struggling with, and I kind of want to do the same thing now, but also talk you through some things that happened in my life over the past 6 months, because context is very important. If you haven't watched my first burnout video or my update, I really recommend watching those first because it gives you a lot of context about how I got into the situation that I'm in, how my health was doing, where I'm coming from. I'm really proud of how far I've come and where I'm at now, and I think that watching that first video will give a lot of insight into that. After we last talked, it was the holidays and I got to spend it with my family, which was amazing. I really got to be present with it, which was amazing. And around New Year's, I moved out of my parents' house back to the city that I used to live in. I subletted an apartment through friends, and I got to spend 3 months there, and that was kind of my first taste of independence again. I was very anxious, but also excited to start a new chapter, and it was really me learning again how to take care of myself, so doing groceries, taking myself to the grocery store, making meals, making sure I'm healthy, getting movement in, and slowly spending time with friends again who I hadn't seen in a long time. If you don't know, I'm from a very small town. I moved to the city to study, so all of my friends are still there, and I hadn't seen a lot of them for a long time. And during my time at my parents' house, I was pretty isolated, I would say. I left the house, I went outside, I did things, but I hadn't been in a lot of social settings at that point. Going to that apartment really felt like reintegrating into society. Like I'm some cave woman who just like crawled out and was like, oh my god. It did kind of feel like that at times because I'd been so used to spending time on my own or just with my parents. During that time there, I felt very lonely at times as well because I was alone in a house, and I still didn't really have the capacity to do a lot of things or be out the house a lot. I was super anxious still in inviting people and then being scared of having to cancel last minute, so not making plans at all to just prevent that, or that I would be so fatigued the next day that I couldn't take care of myself anymore. So it was really a process of learning and experimenting and running into the wall and doing the same thing a few weeks later and noticing that I'm not running into the wall anymore and my boundary is somewhere else, and rediscovering that. That in itself is a whole thing with recovering from anything probably, but yeah, brought a lot of challenges, but also just a lot of great new opportunities and exciting first time experiences. So my first time going to the bar, the first time hanging out with more than 2 friends for over 2 hours, or listening to live music again, going to a performance, driving my car back to the city, practicing long distance drives again. All such scary things at the beginning, but they are now normal to me, which is crazy and wonderful. And yeah. After those 3 months in that apartment, I got a room, which was in a house closer to the city center, which was very exciting to me. I realized during my time in that apartment that I do want to live with people. I don't like being alone too much. And I felt like I was able to be around people again. So I got a room with 4 amazing, wonderful, sweet people. I got really lucky with them, and I feel like that period of time, I lived there from, I think, end of March till end of July, mid-July. I feel like it was all about socializing for me and rediscovering my boundaries. Obviously, with being in the city center, there are a lot more places to go, which is amazing because it's all very close by, and I'm not in the best shape, so it made everything very accessible to me. But obviously that means that there's also a lot more temptation and things that I could be doing. I could just go out and go join my friends at a bar, or I could just go to the movies or go shopping or whatever it was. And that asked a lot of self-awareness, I guess. I really learned a lot about being so close to everyone again and to all the things that I could be doing, and having to say no to protect my own health and my own well-being and prioritizing me and my health. Once again, running into the wall a lot. I've definitely done things like going to a party when I'm already very fatigued, and then the next day is just kind of a shit show. But over time that became less and less and less. I had a very, very lovely time there. However, it did make filming a lot more difficult. I make ASMR videos as my job now. So that brought new stress. And those things started to kind of pile up, unfortunately. So I couldn't really film. I wasn't super excited to film anymore because it was such a hassle to get to the point of being able to film. I started getting sexualized a lot in that period of time because my channel grew. The thing is, I feel so much better. I'm recovering so well. I feel like I pretty much have my life back to a certain capacity, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with the things that I used to be able to deal with, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I were to have conflict with someone, which I did have, it just wipes me out because I'm thinking about it and it's exhausting, and everything else is already kind of tiring and is taking me a little bit more effort, but then having a lot of things on my mind or on my plate just wipes me out, and I'm back in bed all day crying, feeling so unhappy, feeling so stuck, not knowing what to do with myself, basically. That's still difficult, of course. I think it's good to go through a little bit of a list of the things that I no longer struggle with and things that I still struggle with, to give a little bit of an example of where I'm at right now. I did write that down. The biggest thing is that the fatigue is just a lot less. I can shower, wash my hair, change my sheets, do things like make myself a meal. I can do all those things in one day, and I don't even have to take a nap anymore in between those tasks, or I have to sit down in between those tasks. And that crazy, because at one point the only task I could do in one day was maybe change my sheets on a good day, or take a shower, and that was my activity for the day. So yeah, that it's weird to think about now. I almost can't imagine it anymore, which is weird. But I was at that point where I couldn't do those things, and now I can, and I'm not taking it for granted. I can drive a lot better. I really had to build that up again, because you have to be very aware when you're driving. I didn't have the energy to do that, and now I do. So I can drive myself to and from the city in one day, which is very cool to me. Yeah, I can drive with people in the car and have a chat and drive and listen to music. I can just handle these things again, depending on the day. Sometimes I'll ask my friends to drive or something like that. I don't get extreme decision fatigue anymore, which is something that I got all the time in the beginning. I struggled a lot with right and wrong in my recovery process, because a lot of things, just little things, had big consequences to how I was feeling. So it was between, am I gonna go to the grocery store today or am I gonna go see that friend today? If I go see that friend today, will I be able to still go to the grocery store the next day or the same day? What if I can't? Do I have something in my fridge that I can eat then? Or what if I reschedule with my friend? Oh, but what if I don't have energy tomorrow? And it was smaller decisions as well. Like, do I shower today or do I clean my sheets today? Like, you know? And now it's, am I gonna go to France or am I gonna go to Norway to take myself on a little holiday? Which is bizarre to me. I did not think that at this point in my recovery I would already be thinking about going abroad again or going on a holiday on my own. Or in general, I can do group conversations, I can follow what people are saying and come home and not feel so overwhelmed that I'm worthless the next day. I don't get anxious anymore when I'm seeing people. I feel like I really am myself again when I'm meeting people. I used to be an extrovert. I love meeting new people. I love talking to people, hearing their stories, and I felt like I was so extremely... I don't even know what to call the whole phase when I was at home being ill or whatever, but I just could not deal with seeing people. I would get so anxious. It took so much of me to see people and to hear their stories. I had so little space for their stories, so friends couldn't really come to me when they were feeling down or whatever, because I just had no emotional capacity to deal with anything. And now I do. And if my friend calls me and she's super upset, I can make the time for that. I think that does say a lot about my emotional capacities now. I'm not struggling with extreme loneliness anymore, which before moving back to the city and also in the city, like I talked about in the apartment, and it's not being alone, it's not solitude that bothers me. It was loneliness, and you can feel lonely in a crowd of people, of course, and that's how it felt in the beginning, because I felt like the odd one out, or like there was such a gap between me and my friends because I had been through all of this. I don't know, I don't feel that anymore. And I think that has to do a lot with the time that I got to spend with them and the conversations that we got to have, because me being more open about my mental health with my friends and being a lot more transparent and just laid on the table as it is brought a lot of openness back to me, and I feel like I got to share so many things with friends that we hadn't really shared before. I don't know, I really appreciate that, and we can still laugh and have fun and do all the light things, but it's also nice to just be able to check in with each other and for me to finally have that space again to actually hear what they're saying and be your friend again. I don't know, that helped a lot. Some things that I am still struggling with, mostly overwhelm. Things just overwhelm me quickly still, and I need processing time. I've become a very slow processor, so someone will be saying something to me and I'll just be staring at them like until they're asking me something wrong. Like, I'm still putting pieces together. I need a minute. I just need a little bit more time than I used to, and I kind of like that. I like also taking my time, so that's nice. I still get overstimulated, just a lot less than it used to be, but I will still get a ringing in my ear. I'll still have trouble forming words. I still have days where I feel more fatigued, so my eyes will feel a little bit heavier. I actually kind of have that today, where things just feel like they're taking up a little bit more effort, but I can still do the things. I'm not fully wiped out the way that I used to be. So that's great. I keep saying that, I think, but I'm still dealing with grief, because things just still aren't the way I had wanted them to be, and it's a process of letting go of things that you thought were going to happen but didn't, or things that you thought you would be able to do but you weren't. I still had to cancel a lot of things, missed out on a lot of things, and I think that I sometimes still grieve the girl who was able to do those things. Yeah, I don't know. When things get bad, I do get anxious about not living fully. I think that in the best health you can have thoughts like this, but I feel like I love life. I love living. I love being here. I want to experience all of it. I want to take it all in. Like, like it's a grapefruit, like sucking every little juice pocket empty, you know what I mean? Like, I want to soak it all up, and being held back by health issues is so sad. And I've been through this experience before when I was a teenager. I developed a heart condition, and I was in high school, and I lived a very different life to my peers. There were a lot of things I was not able to do, and that just comes with a lot of grief. You know, I'm positive, I can do a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that the grief isn't there and that it's not allowed to be there. But I'm someone who can be very strict with herself, and to just, you know, let myself feel the grief, and it's okay for it to be there. That sometimes takes a little bit of an internal fight to get to that point, but I'm working on that, and all of the things that I'm still struggling with are a lot less than they used to be. And I keep returning to that. So even when I am in the midst of my grief or my sadness or my overwhelm or my fatigue, and I feel like everything's bottling up and I'm crying so hard, I can still kind of laugh through it and be like, it's gonna get better in a little bit, and look how far you've come. And I think that that's such a wonderful thing that I'm really grasping onto. This year in June, I did have a moment where I felt like I had a huge setback and like everything was falling apart again, because there was a lot of emotional stress piling up. And like I said before, I don't have a lot of capacity to deal with that. So I can handle a couple things, but not a lot more. And things just kept piling up. I had to move out. So the process of moving itself, let's be real, who loves to move? You tell me. The moving process itself, where do I want to move to now? Financial stress that was getting to me. YouTube things that were kind of getting to me. I had conflict / a little bit of a heartbreak moment, if you will. I don't even know what to call it, but it was just very difficult and sad and hard to deal with. Not knowing what I'm doing with my life. You know, I'm in my 20s. Who knows what they're doing with their lives? Who has it figured out? But all those normal things as well. The whole thing felt so huge, everything piled up so fast, and it felt like everything was exploding in the same week. And then I had some health issues in that same week, like having to get my wisdom teeth removed, being home alone at my parents' house during all that. I just... it was so bad. I felt horrible. I was talking to my friend earlier. She is in a very similar situation to mine. And she was talking about the cruelty of healing not being linear, and she really hit the spot. It's a very cruel thing to witness and to be in the lives of everybody just living normal lives and having normal levels of energy or the capacity to just function in society, if you will. And to be able to sometimes partake and sometimes not partake at all. And for things to feel so hard that are so easy for my peers, for my friends, for my family. I want to be able to do those things. I want to live fully again. And it's in these moments that I just get really scared of, but what if I won't? What if it's just something that I can't do anymore? Because, you know. And then I get into a really bad spiral of, I don't know, just bad thoughts. A bad loop. Of self-worth. And if anything, if you're watching this, know that it's such a privilege that you're in good health. If you are in good health and watching this, it's a privilege to be able to go to work, come home, make yourself dinner, put yourself to bed at night, and wake up the next day and are able to do it all again in the same capacity. I miss being able to make plans with friends and be someone people can count on. And I'm not someone people can count on right now. Ik weet ook gewoon echt niet wat ik met mezelf aan moet. Ik wil gewoon gelukkig zijn. En gezond. And I called my friends a lot, and I talked a lot about what I was going through, and that helped so much. I took a step back from YouTube in that time because I just felt like there's so much real life stuff going on. I'm not enjoying my relationship to media anyway. I've always had a bit of a back and forth relationship with the online world. So I felt like, you know, if I'm trying so hard to not be on my phone and be consuming things and sharing things, why am I still making videos right now? I have nothing to say. I'm dealing with so many things. So I took a step back from that, and that has been so amazing. So I just got to focus on everything that was going on here and now. I got a lot of support from my family. So to deal with all that, I decided, okay, I need to go back to basics. So by tracking my habits again, things that help me to feel better, like doing meditation daily, journaling about what I'm going through, processing, reading, not spending time on my phone, going outside, doing yoga or stretching or some type of movement, taking my vitamins, taking my magnesium, otherwise I'll get migraines more than I already do. Aww. Really focusing on those things and making those my priority helped me so much, and I started tracking them in my journal, and I did it for a month, and it made the biggest impact. I really feel like I woke up from a fever dream the past month. I don't know. I think I really got through that very well and in a very healthy way. And then I got to spend a lot of time with friends right before I moved. I ended up moving back home to my parents, which is where I am right now, and I'm gonna be here until I figure out where I want to go, what I'm gonna do financially, work-wise, what I want. I'm just having a little bit of a reset, I guess, to just see where to go from here. But right before I moved, there was the Vierdaagse feesten, and I got to really soak up time with friends, and that healed me. I don't know how else to call it. I just got to be around the people that I love, do fun things, listen to live music, dance, enjoy the sun and the rain, and it was amazing, and it was the best end to my time in the city that I could have ever wished for. I'm really proud of myself, of how I was able to set my boundaries while the whole city was in festival mode. The decision fatigue, like I said, is a lot less. That just helps a lot because it takes a lot less energy to make decisions and have my experiences. I'm now at my parents' house, just getting settled in, enjoying the summer weather. I think I might go on a little holiday. I don't know. I don't have any set plans, which I'm really happy with. It's very out in the open, figuring out what I want with YouTube, how I want to show up online, what I want to do outside of YouTube work-wise, working on some things. Big things are coming, guys. I don't know. Just living, laughing, loving, all that. I don't know, and I'm really fucking proud of myself for how I'm handling things. Obviously, I owe a lot of how I'm feeling to my loved ones. They really picked me up and held me when I needed to be held. They have given me advice. They've been angry with me, sad with me, happy with me, which is amazing and has been so extremely impactful in a positive way and has contributed so much to my health and well-being. Therapy has been a huge factor as well. I've been to therapy through all of this. Even last month I went back to my doctor just because I was doing so bad mentally, and I started talking to someone again. I'm very on top of my health, and I love that about me. I will always keep doing this, really. And I'm just really proud of myself because I'm the one who was there when I fell apart. I'm the one who put myself together again in the end. I get to live in this body that is so resilient and that is super sensitive and that I resented and that I hurt, but that I also healed and love and care for. And don't get me wrong, my old patterns are still definitely here. I still have the voices in my head that are telling me all these old things, but I feel like I've carved so many new pathways over this past year and a half to look at things differently, set my boundaries, and it will just always be hard. I was a people pleaser. I want to be liked. I want to be understood by people. I try very hard to be understood by people. It's why I scripted this whole thing and recorded it 5 times. And with the people pleasing, having to say no to things will just always suck. I will always feel like a bitch. I will always feel like I'm disappointing people, but it's standing your ground, like holding on to that boundary, like I don't know, just not letting go and letting it happen, letting people think that if they think that, they probably don't even think that. But it's such a learning curve. I feel like I got so much better at just not letting my ego get in the way, being scared of what people think of me, because that's just so exhausting. All of this to say, the voices are still definitely there. I still have my bad days, like every other person, but the voices are just not as loud as they used to be anymore. I don't know, I just feel like a normal human being again. It just doesn't feel like these extremes anymore, and I'm so thankful for that. I feel a lot more relaxed. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, for sitting through this video, hearing me ramble. Just another person on the internet shouting into the void, reading your comments on YouTube or reading my DMs or emails through both my ASMR channel and this channel, through my Instagram. You've really helped me to remind myself of why I'm sharing this in the first place, because if there's one thing I believe in, it's the power of sharing stories. And I think that it matters, and you matter, and your health matters just as much as mine does. Burnout is just something that isn't talked about as much as I wish it would have been talked about when I was down in the dumps. The way I've Googled burnout and dating, like, is that something I can do? Is that detrimental to my health? I would love to make more content about burnout or mental health related topics. I would love to share my knowledge and experience. So drop me any questions you have in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave me a roller coaster emoji to let me know that you've made it this far into the video, because if anything, it was a roller coaster. Thank you for watching. Bye.